Hey gang, it's John. Welcome back to another Friday Game Break, where we take a look at a game or a toy activity and figure out if it has fun elements first and foremost, and then maybe ways we can take elements of what we're seeing in the game and put it in play in our classrooms. Today we're taking a look at a game that you may not have played before. It's brand new off of the internet, and I got it from a Kickstarter. I do a lot of things with Kickstarters or Indiegogos as passion projects. People are pushing them on the internet. The game is called Charty Party. It looks just like this. It is the game of absurdly funny charts, and I ordered it a few months ago. It takes a long time to kind of send them on Indiegogo or on Kickstarter. But what I love about places like Kickstarter is they're great for like these cottage industry board games that may not have had a chance to get shelf space in your local Walmart or Target. Once Toys R Us kind of closed, it swallowed a lot of those shelf spaces that would have otherwise been available for small companies like this. Like this one's published by a company called Charty Party, LLC. So that tells you it's pretty much just like a one-man operation right there. And this is the whole game. This is their whole product. So they posted out the video of how the game worked on the internet. I liked it. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll back it. And then if it gets backed enough, then it moves up, which is great. So I love finding things on the internet that are like new and up-and-coming games. And I've picked up a bunch of Kickstarter games that when they wind up going to press, then you have like a cool game to play with friends. And they're pretty low impact. They're usually pretty quick to figure out. This is a 30 to 90 minute play time for 3 or more players. And it plays a lot like Apples to Apples, or if you ever played Cards Against Humanity. But what I love about it is it does the same thing that those games do, but it does it with charts. So for our more mathematical-minded people, things that look like this. So you can see it in the picture. There's one right there. On the bottom it says age, and then on the top it has like a graph axis. And so what I love more than anything about this game, which I saw online, which sold me on it, was that it moves away from this idea of just let's compete to see who can say the most offensive thing. And then instead it becomes more clever. So I like cleverness over offensive as a general life rule. I mean, I guess when I was, in my early 20s and seeing some of these, modern card games or these party games, they're designed to be for like shock value, and I think while that's all fun and good, and there's a time and place for everything. That not safe for work kind of element of what some of those games make their money off of, when you think right down to it, it's kind of mean. It's just straight up mean spirited. And what I found, and I'm not trying to get political about it, is like people who are in on the joke together feel like it's okay because in the rules of this game we're willing to say and do horribly offensive things, but they don't believe those things in the world outside of that game. But like, why do you even need that, is my thought. I don't know. I have a great variety of things that I'm really interested in, and I have no problem laughing at things that could be foul-mouthed or funny or offensive, as they have their plays too. But I'm like, if I have a time to play with strangers, rather than perpetuating like horribly offensive jokes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like there's something that's sort of worn out its welcome, I think, with me. And that, again, you teach their own. But what I liked about the Charty Party game is it's the same activity with just these sort of little charts. So it gives you one here. This one says physical fitness. It says obese, dad bod, average, pretty good, or ripped. And so it gives you this bottom axis, which I think is what we would call the x-axis, if I'm doing math right. But then it's up to you, with the cards you have in your hand, to play those cards, right? So here this one says age, and here's a declining graph. It looks like at ages 10 through 26 or so, it's really high, then it drops down by the time it's 40-ish, and then by the time it's 70, it's really, really low. So this would be what the judge plays the card down, and everyone else has to kind of compete and play their Charty Party cards here. So this one says excitement over your birthday. So you're making the other axis. I guess this is the y-axis, right? Excitement over my birthday. When I'm like 0 to 10 years old, really, really excited. All the way up till I get to age 26 or so, really excited. After that, all downhill. So maybe person A plays that card, or person B plays this one that says here, appreciation of a hard day's work. Maybe you thought that you appreciated work really, really, really from ages 0 to 26, and then it falls off after that. Or maybe the person after that says, how attracted you are to people your own age. From 0 to 26, it's really, really high, and then it falls down after that. And someone else says tightness of pants from 0 to 26, and then it drops off after that. So I like this idea that the cards themselves sort of play the game, and it's up to the judge to make the vote. In this case, I think the funniest one that I found was, let's say, the birthday party one. I like the birthday party one. So it says here, how much you enjoyed your own birthday. From 0 to 10, you're really, really excited. So I'd say that person gets it right, and then they would win the point, and then they get the card, and then you repeat the process again and again and again. The tightness of pants is pretty funny too. Like from 0 to 26, you want to wear those tight pants like millennials do, but then afterwards, like a nice relaxed pant, sort of leisurely, more baggy, kind of time off and kind of kick back and relax. But it's up to the judge. It's just a chance for conversation. And I love the fact that this is forcing us to make everyone in the game a player in the game at all times. So whether you do Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity or a game like Charty Party, some of the cards are still a little bit more adult. So you do have to be mindful of that. It says 17 plus on the box. It's not really offensive, but it's questions about like, you know, alcohol use and things like that. There's some cards in there about like, you know, your physical fitness or your politics. So you just have to be careful with some of these questions. But what I love about this game is everyone in the game is a player in the game in every single hand. And that's so different than traditional games like Monopoly or Scrabble or like Parcheesi, where you're really just doing a lot of waiting for the game to come back around in waves and waves and waves. And as we move into the classroom then, ways that we can use these same elements of gameplay. Trying to design game experiences where the vote is done by the group or the judge, so that it's not me, the teacher, who's saying that's the funniest and I'm passing judgment on it. Rather, it's like, can you make an argument for X or Y or Z? Some of that's my most famous, my most favorite stuff about the games like Apples to Apples. It's like the table talk. When someone makes a case for, no, the reason why this one has to be the winner is because blah, 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 blah. And letting someone who's submitted an answer kind of defend their answer. That's metacognitive, and that's really, really cool. So whether you pick the tightness of pants or the excitement over the birthday or the attractiveness of one's, people at their same age, it didn't really matter what they played. It's why they said it, and giving people in the room the chance to do that. So I'm thinking about this as an opportunity for us to use in the classroom. Maybe not this game proper, but things like this game, which gives students a chance to do that dialogue and that rhetoric, and sort of making a case or an argument for why they said what they said. While also having a little bit of fun too. So that's it for this week. And the game's called Charty Party. It's available on the intranet. You can probably Google it at this point. Head to Charty Party Game. It has an @ mentioned, maybe on Twitter or Facebook. And we'll be back next Friday with another game. Thanks again.